Welcome to the Mortgage Podcast, where we give tactics, strategies, and inspiration to get you to 10 plus loans per month. We talk a lot about how to make a ton of money in mortgage while also being happy and thriving in your personal life. If you want to be a mortgage millionaire, you're in the right place.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mortgage Podcast with Todd Screama. We are talking today about what no one knows about AI coming to the mortgage business. This is such a big topic. I have spent hundreds of hours personally on this topic. Now, I run a mid-sized mortgage company. I also have an advertising and marketing company that uses AI every day. So I'm going to give you what's on the cutting edge of mortgage. Let me back up for a second. These are big topics. So I want to talk to everybody. I want to make it so everyone understands it. You're going to be shocked at what happens over the next 1 to 3 years in mortgage. Now, I know everyone says that, but I really know what's going on. So I'm coming from a point of, I just signed a contract for $1.4 million a year for an AI contract. So I'm not saying that to brag. I wouldn't do that if I didn't expect to make or save $6 or $8 million a year. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I've got companies that where we're actively using this. Not using ChatGPT as like a big search engine. We're going deep. I'm talking really deep. And I'm going to explain this to you in a way that I think people can understand it. So I was on a call. I was on 3 of these calls in the last 5 months. Every single time, let me tell you what I found. First of all, we all know what AI voice bots are. My first meeting, I literally listened to and watched as an AI bot took a loan application from a live borrower on a call, took the loan application, picked a program, underwrote the loan, and disclosed the loan. This is not a person, it's an AI bot doing it with a live person on the call. And the way it was set up was the AI bot's on the screen, the borrower's on the screen, and then there's a Encompass screen, which is, most people know what that is. It's mortgage software. It's filling in the loan application as the AI bot is asking questions. This was a 1-hour presentation. In 1 hour, I watched the AI take a loan application, fill it out live time, run DU live time, pick a program live time, solve future problems live time. For example, in the meeting I was in, the borrower said he was getting a gift from mom. So the AI did the gift letter on the screen and emailed it with instructions to the mom during the loan application. So when I say taking a complete loan application, it was shocking. Of course, there was AI built into it. So as the borrower was given the for example, their social security number, it was pulling the credit report and pulled it live time into Encompass. So then I watched another presentation, very similar, but with a person taking a loan application, and everything was being filled out by the AI as the loan officer, the human loan officer, was taking the loan application. When the loan officer missed something, the AI made them fill it out or filled it in for them if it had the information. For example, and again, you're all seeing this on screen. The borrower didn't say that they lived at their residence for 2 years, but the AI wasn't necessary because the AI checked public records and discovered that they had lived there 7 years. So it auto-filled it in. This is what's happening right now. Then I watched it go to processing. Same loan. By the time the processor got the application, there was just a little box in the left-hand corner that said, hey, when you do these 7 items that are missing, these 7 action items, you can press submit to underwriting. Then I watched it go to the underwriter. The loan was already DU underwritten, and it just said, hey, underwriter, you got to clear these 4 tasks, and you can send it to docs and issue the approval. In my mortgage company, Summit Funding, we will be about the 7th company that implements this starting in mid next year. The other companies are still thinking about it. Now, let me just tell you my conservative estimates, along with my IT team and finance team. Within a year, we will cut down labor on a file from 60 hours, which is what the industry averages today. It takes 60 man hours to close a mortgage loan. In a year, we'll be at about 9 hours. From 60 hours on an average file to 9. I could go on and on. What I want to give you is a frame so that you can understand where this is going. If you step back for a second, the difference between, say, a 2-year loan officer and a 15-year loan officer is the 15-year loan officer has more checklists in their brain. They have more decision making. Now we call it things like, oh, they're wise because they've done 1,000 loans. The computer is now that. The AI is now that. The AI knows that the DSCR ratio is incorrect. The computer, the AI, does the income. You don't do any of the income, even complicated income. I watched on one demo, we stuck in there that on the loan app that the child support was $500 a month. The computer AI actually said, hey, based on the pay stubs that we are looking at, and it showed a picture of the pay stubs, it's actually $572 a month because it's auto deducted from their paycheck. It catches all the little errors that humans make. Now, those errors aren't as prevalent with a 20-year processor and a 20-year underwriter and a 20-year loan officer, but the playing field will be evened. This is what's happening right now. Right now, this is happening. This is not 3 years from now. This is not 8 years from now. This is next year, like 6 months from now. This is happening. Now, not all mortgage companies, I understand that. And I'm also not trying to be braggadocious about my mortgage company. My point is, we're on the cutting edge of all this. I don't want you to fear it. Here's what's going to happen. If we do this right, the mortgage company will grow, but not grow your number of employees. And I say that because I don't want people to think AI is taking all my jobs. It is going to make the processor be more right. They have more time to catch issues that the computer can't see because there's still some of them. Occupancy, for example. Okay. Hey, you're moving 2 hours from your job. That may be an issue. You'll raise your skill set. What will happen to a loan officer? Your marketing and sales, you'll have much more time to do that. Like triple the amount of time to do that. I'm talking in a year. So your ability to influence people, your ability to go get new accounts, your ability for relationship skills, those are culture skills for a manager. Like those will become much more important because the computer's doing the other $20, $30, $40 an hour items. Our lift is going to be significant. I know people say this, they're like, this is the biggest change ever. It's not hype. We are there. Now, you may not feel that way because people are still talking about it. I just said there's only 6 companies in America that are even taking this step. And that's accurate information. However, there is an avalanche coming. Now, I don't say any of this out of fear. I don't fear it whatsoever. I'm just excited. If you want a metaphor, I want you to think of the farmer that owned a big old farm back during the Industrial Revolution. Everyone's quitting working on the farm and they're moving to the city to work in the factories because it's better work, more pay, easier work, whatever the decision was. And that was a huge migration. Now, does that mean that there's no need for farmers? No, it just changed. Farmers became really big farmers. Instead of having 20 acres of hay, that same farmer, done correctly during the Industrial Revolution, went to 1,000-acre farmer. He became a bigger farmer. And then new jobs were created. That was the factory jobs. So things will shift and change. Our skill sets will change. Our work lives will change. If you're going to fear it a lot, it's going to be troublesome because you'll be in so much fear you get paralyzed. But if you look at it as an opportunity, that's where I want your head. So the ability to do a lot more loans, like some people say, Todd, commissions will go down. Not sure about that. But even if they did, if you were doing 20 loans a month for 70 basis points instead of 10 loans a month at 120, wouldn't you take that deal? It's a better deal for you. You're going to make a lot more money. So I don't think that some of these crazy mindsets that people have around AI are actually true. They are thinking about it wrong. They're just thinking about it wrong. That's not really what's going to happen. Now, for people that are like, Todd, I'm going to process my loans the same way I ever did. Fine. Maybe you close 1 or 2 loans a month and you do it the old way and it still works. I'm not saying that you'll go out of business. So don't hear that either. So I don't like all the fear mongering that people have around this. but there is tremendous opportunity. And don't even get me started about the sales opportunities with AI. It's rampant. Like, it's crazy. I had a bot yesterday get me 6 appointments yesterday, and it only talked to 40 people. It's an experiment I'm doing. Now, let's say I prove that out. I'll just have the bot call 5,000 people a day. So there is so much opportunity, I can't tell you. But I wanted this to be around the future of AI, specific to when it comes to the origination, processing, disclosing, underwriting. QC will go away. Like, our computer system we're putting in, it does the QC. It does it all. We don't need a person for that. So my QC people will have to be retrained in a different area. That's just what's going to happen. I'll need 1 instead of 15. 1. So is it fearful for people? I don't want you to be fearful. I want you to know what's going on, and I want you to start thinking about it correctly so that you can capitalize on it. My son, I'll end with this story. He's home from college for a week, and we had this long discussion. He says, Dad, I don't know if going into acting and drama and all that stuff is good. I said, Bub, I think it's the best time ever. I said, I think you're thinking about it wrong. And he says, what do you mean? I said, well, you're getting used to this AI, and you worked in one of your classes on how to create backdrops. I said, think about it different. I said, what if you could go to a movie company, and instead of say it's a car's blowing up scene, and you could recreate that with AI, and it looked real, like you're using really good, complicated software and AI, and you could save that movie producer $400,000 for that one scene. I said, do you think you're going to be valuable and make a lot of money? You just saved him $400,000. He says, well, I never thought of it that way. Now, he's only 21, so it's okay. I'm trying to change his way of thinking. You're however old you are, and I don't want you to think about things incorrectly. AI is coming to mortgage. It'll be a big thing next year. It'll be a really big thing 2 years from now. It will totally change how we do mortgage. And it's going to be a positive thing, not a negative thing. However, it's all how you think about it. You could think COVID was the worst thing that ever happened in our lives, or you could think that all the advancement it did and it was the best thing that ever happened. Depends on your side of the fence. How do you think about it? How do you intake information and process it? So the goal of this is to give you some insight into what's happening with AI and how smart it's becoming, not to replace your job or other people's jobs, to augment them. But if we stay stuck and we're frozen, you will get burned. So that's the fear part that some people are afraid of. Just dive into it. Just educate yourself, and you'll find that it will change your entire life. So I hope that helps. Maybe send this to a processor or an underwriter or a loan officer that you know, so that they have a little more insight into what's going on with AI at a high level, so that you know, A, it's really coming, and B, we don't want to resist it. We want to dive into it. I hope it helps. Have a beautiful week.